The Speaker of the House said today the U.S. is barreling toward one of the longest shutdowns in history. That stark warning on this 13th day of the government shutdown comes as effects are already starting to ripple across the country, with federal workers facing their first week without a paycheck. Here with the latest is our White House correspondent, Liz Landers. All right, Liz, so day 13, has there been any movement?
The short answer is no, Jeff. The president did announce over the weekend that he's directing the Pentagon to use, quote, all available funds to pay the U.S. troops. This is apparently reportedly going to be coming from leftover research and development funds that were left over from last fiscal year. The president talked about this last night on Air Force One.
We're taking care of it. We've got the military paid in full. And we're doing a lot of things. We're ending some programs that we don't want. They happen to be Democrat-sponsored programs, but we're ending some programs that we never wanted, and we're probably not going to allow them to come back. I think they made a mistake. I think they made a big mistake.
You hear the president there blaming Democrats still. That has been the Republican position. Speaker Mike Johnson taking that same position today, continuing to blame Democrats for this shutdown, saying that Leader Schumer is using misleading information right now to the public. And as you mentioned in the intro, Speaker Johnson saying that we're barreling towards the longest government shutdown in history. If that is the case, that means we will be several more weeks in this government shutdown. We're 13 days into this one. The longest one we've had in U.S. history is 35 days. But I would add, though, Jeff, that the Speaker has had the House out of session. They're not in session right now. The Senate keeps coming back. They continue to vote on these bills. The majority of Democrats continue to hold the line on health care. They say that they do not want to negotiate until, do not want to reopen the government until there are these negotiations on health care. We heard from Leader Jeffries yesterday saying that Democrats will meet anyone, anytime, any place to have those negotiations. As far as we know, that's not happening.
Yeah, the sticking point remains. So let's talk about the impact. What's the impact of all of this, and when will more Americans start to feel it?
Well, hundreds of thousands of federal workers are going to start missing their paychecks starting this week. We're also hearing that the Smithsonian, America's museums, are closed now. All 21 of those had closed as of yesterday. And then one of the biggest impacts that we've seen thus far are these reduction in force memos that went out. Basically, these mass layoffs. The administration had been teasing that this would happen. These went out last Friday to more than 4,000 federal employees. Our colleague Ali Rogan reported over the weekend that more than 1,300 staff at the CDC received some of these notices. And of those 1,300, a few days later, 700 of them had those RIF notices rescinded. So that just gives you, I think, a sense of some of the uncertainty that these federal workers are facing right now.
The chaos and confusion. Yeah. Let's talk, while we have you, about a new personnel announcement the president made, naming Dan Scavino to lead the White House Office of Personnel Management. Remind us who he is and why this matters.
The president posted this on Truth Social yesterday. He announced that Dan Scavino, quote, will be responsible for the selection and appointment of almost all positions in government, a very big and important position. Scavino started in President Trump's orbit as his golf caddy years ago at his golf club. He has remained a trusted advisor to the president. He was handling his social media account during the first Trump administration. I'm sure you remember that. Scavino, though, somebody basically told me today, a former White House official in the first Trump administration, sort of described it, saying that announcing Scavino in this role is making something official that he was already doing in an unofficial capacity, which has been advising the president about personnel decisions now for years.
Liz Landers, our thanks to you as always.